That was a lot of claps. A lot of claps. A lot of claps.
A lot of claps for, well, not a standing ovation, but who knows? Maybe
No
one.
encore. No encore for that one.
Hey, that brings me to a point. We did at one point get a standing ovation. Do you remember?
No. I don't think I've ever received a standing
No,
ovation.
yes, you did. Yes, you did.
When?
It was at a career day. It was at a career day.
I'm blanking.
Dude, we taught some kids a few things about video and composition and the exposure triangle.
We've done that at a couple career fairs.
At the tail end of one of them, we got a standing ovation. So much to the point that the principal was on the outside somewhere in the hallway, talked to us about it. They said, "Look, I have never heard a roar of claps come from a career day presentation."
I have a suspicion, and it's not a confirmed suspicion, but I wonder if the roar of claps and the sudden standing of multiple student bodies at the same time were in fact a product of it being time for them to leave our area because time had ran out.
Listen, I'll allow you to debate what was the true cause of said ovation.
I really don't remember the ovation. I just remember kids getting up and leaving.
Well, I'm telling you, and I'm just gonna go ahead and claim it. I believe the standing ovation.
Claim it. Throw it out there.
Was due to the bang up job that we did.
You claim your victory, sir.
I like to think we did all right. Anyways, who knows?
Listen, we might have. I just, for whatever reason, and it probably is due to noggin issues. I can't remember an ovation. The only one I ever got, I don't even remember. Daggone it.
It happened.
Good morning.
It was pretty cool, actually. I may have even taken a bow. Who knows?
Dang.
Listen, I want to start a petition to speak with whomever
is
in charge of this whole claiming of savings of daylight.
We're in it right now.
We're in it.
We just got into the thick of it, the THICC thick of it.
Daylight savings, for me.
The darkness is thick.
Listen, it's the amount of daylight present, finite.
Yes.
Right. It is the amount of hours that it is. And
typically 24.
Due to the tilt of the earth, all those
24
things.
24 hours total.
In the winter months, we have shorter sunlight.
Yeah, the earth tips.
This just is what it is. Cool with that. No qualms there. My big qualm is when we start playing with which time of day these daylight hours get to be taken advantage of.
Yes. All for the psychology of
who knows what.
Somebody.
But listen, I will die on this hill. It getting dark at 5:30 p.m. is worse.
It's for the birds.
Is worse than it getting daylight at 7. I would rather have a slightly delayed daylight time than a super early
I can agree with that.
Sunset.
Case in point, that would have really helped us on a recent trip that we took to a beautiful national park, by the way.
Yeah, well, I've got a story there that I'm not ready to dig
not ready
up.
to divulge into that.
But hey,
but we could have left an hour later, slept in a little more.
There you go.
I dig my sleep.
Yep,
dig my sleep. But we couldn't do that.
Nope,
couldn't do that.
But as a result of this early sunset,
yes,
in the wintertime, I find myself, because you can't freaking do anything else. Like, it's pitch black. Like, any of your outdoor activities, they're pretty much...
Yeah, they're
like,
donezo.
They're out.
They're donezo.
So you're cooped inside.
Yeah.
And we've even had nice weather, so it's not even been the weather that's kept us. It's literally just luminance.
Which I'm also a little bit miffed about. Anyways, different story.
But all that to say, I have a terrible habit in the winter months of desiring and loving an evening coffee.
A little bit of extra caffeine for
the day.
Little
evening coffee. There's something to me about being stuck in on the psychological side. I just really enjoy that warm drink. And also, honestly, I usually start my yawning once the sun goes down. So because the sun comes down, so I need the caffeine.
Might I offer you a little bit of help?
What, decaf coffee?
Can I direct your attention right here to the little box beside me? Because as you know, as your best friend and business partner, for the longest time, I have struggled with a little bit of a caffeine addiction as well.
Yeah.
Mine spans even far beyond the daylight savings time.
True.
Early yawns.
Yeah.
Which is why when our friends over at Magic Mind reached out with their mental performance shot, offered us a little trial, maybe give it a whirl, see how we feel about it. I jumped on it. I was looking for something to help me out. A, be more present with my family.
Sure.
B, be more creative, be able to focus a little bit more on the projects that you and I have at hand.
Right.
And I've been able to do that with the Magic Mind mental performance shot.
So it's helped you cut caffeine even.
It's helped me cut caffeine, and we've mentioned this in episodes before, but I was really bad about reaching for an afternoon energy drink.
Yeah, you were the energy drink dude.
I was the energy drink dude. And in full transparency, I still drink an energy drink during the day or in the mornings.
Right.
But with Magic Mind, they are not designed to replace that. It's a supplementation.
Okay.
And the supplementation has, in fact, helped me cut the afternoon energy drink.
Nice.
One thing, too, with Magic Mind for our listeners is we have a very easy subscription model.
Okay.
It's as easy as following the link in our description below.
Right.
Putting in the quantity at which you would like to receive each month. They have a 15-day supply or a 30-day supply if you like to do every other day or every day. And it ships straight to your front door.
Nice.
Every single month. No questions asked. And if you would like to cancel that subscription, there are also no questions asked.
There you go.
And again, for our listeners, Magic Mind has created a discount code. You can look at that in the description below. It's Motion20
There you go.
for up to 48% off of your
Nice.
Magic Mind subscription.
I may have to give that a go.
I think you should. And I'm actually going to
That's a little ASMR.
Take a
little
little-
ASMR action.
take a little shot of mine right now to help me be a little more thought provocative on this podcast today. Thank you,
Nice.
Magic Mind.
Nice. Well, there you go.
Oh,
We'll have to
sorry,
pick-
Captain. This is your classroom.
We'll have to pick that up because we don't litter.
No, we do not litter.
We
do not
pick our
litter.
trash up because we're not animals.
Also, my son is now a junior park ranger, so if I litter, he will
That's
arrest
true.
me. He will
Fresh
arrest
out,
me.
yeah, freshly inducted yesterday.
Meat and taters. Get us the meat and taters, Jared. We're talking today on.
Well, so this is probably a shock to some, but I have a TikTok, and on that TikTok account,
You're a
had
viral TikToker now.
viral is relative. That's also not the point of this episode. But on my TikTok or on that account, on that platform, I had a message. Somebody sent me a message on TikTok.
Whoa.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know you could even do that. That's how
Whoa.
old I am. Anyways,
DMs.
they sent me a message and they said, hey, I like what you're doing. I watch all your videos, all those things. I'm really wanting to get started in this whole thing. Do I need to go to, now this person was specifically asking for, do I need to go to school for photography? But I believe we can probably help answer, or at least provide a little bit of intel to also speak to film school.
Yeah. Do I need film school or do I
need to
not?
do I need to go to school for photo or for video? Is that something I need to do to make a career out of this?
Ooh.
And I will be first to have a big asterisk right off the bat, disclaimer. In no way am I a figure of authority,
Okay.
or do I solicit advice on how you should make career decisions and decisions in your life.
Well, I guess you have just destroyed my whole life's ethos because I have thought otherwise.
I say all that to say every person truly needs to be carefully considering and make this decision individually.
But I will second that motion because I did not go to film school.
Yeah. Well, I didn't either. But what we can do is we can talk about our examples of how we have gotten to where we are today, but we also know a lot of people who have went to school.
I was going to say, we have friends that are professionals in the industry as well who did go.
So we'll talk about the two routes, right? The big
Nice.
question is, do I have to go to school or should I go to school for film or for photography in order to have a career?
I like it.
So let's talk about the first one. Let's talk
Yes.
about going to school,
Okay.
right? Going to school to learn photography or to learn film. Tons of benefits there.
Yeah.
Tons of benefits there. For one, I believe at the base, you're going to gain a great knowledge of the fundamentals of the craft, the history of the craft.
Yeah.
But you're going to learn a lot. I mean, you're going to school to be taught how to photograph properly.
Well, and you're being taught by working professionals.
Right. So there is great benefit to literally just the acquisition of knowledge.
Yeah.
You're getting it fed to you firsthand from someone who is an industry professional.
From the sensei.
Yeah, I mean, you're you're not having to go find this information yourself.
Right.
It's
fed to you.
It's fed to you because you're in school to do that. So
I think a great example of this, I was listening to the Team Deacons podcast last week, which is Roger Deakins, my film hero.
yeah.
His podcast, he had on a director, and I forget the guy's name, but anyways, he said my teacher in film school directed boom, 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 boom movies, and I was like,
Yeah, I mean, so
he literally got fed from the master.
You're automatically being fed
Yeah.
incredibly credible
Yeah. Credible
information from
Yep.
credible sources.
Yep.
So
Working
like,
professionals.
the knowledge that you can get from it is like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Great
Invaluable.
great value there. But I really think maybe the bigger aspect of and the bigger benefit to going to school to learn either of these two arts was falls in the line of the connections that you get to make.
Networking.
Yeah, you're already. I mean, if you're in class at film school with 30 other people, I mean, that's 30 other people doing the exact same thing that you're doing. And if 20 of them go on to be industry professionals, that's 20 people
They're in
in
your
the
corner.
industry who know who you are, what, like, they already know you. So you gain such a valuable network of connections.
Yeah. Which,
right off the bat.
as a side note, I will say means you need to treat people kindly.
Oh yeah.
You never know who you're going to have to call upon one day, which you should do that anyway.
You should do that anyway.
It's kind of the golden rule, but
There you go.
kind of the golden rule. But anyways, yeah, treat people kindly because you never know who you may need to call on.
Right. And so like as a result of that, not only may you get calls to help and aid on future productions
You may
after
be the
school,
one making the call.
You may, yeah, exactly. But you've also got, there you go, a list of people who
got a Rolodex.
you've worked with,
Yep.
you've spent hours with, you've
You know,
worked on
strengths,
projects
weaknesses.
with. There you go. So like the connections that you make are going to like be of paramount importance
Yes.
Moving forward.
Agreed. I can agree with that for sure.
And really kind of one of the other really cool things about film school and working in these team environments, you get to work on some freaking cool projects.
Yeah. With a lot of really cool toys.
Yes. I mean, film schools are already going to have gear
Yeah.
that cost a lot of money.
A lot of dollars.
Whereas like
dollars.
if you didn't go to school, you're
You're
don't
stuck
get,
with whatever your budget is.
you're not getting to play with the Ursa or
Right.
the Airy or whatever the
Right.
school has. But two, like on the projects note, you're going to get to work on really cool projects with big, with budgets that exist. First off,
One, you get an actual realistic like team scenario.
yeah, you're
on
working with
those
crew
things.
at
Yes.
that point. You're working with crew. Whereas the inverse to that would be like if you're starting out, you're probably starting out.
You're gonna be
really-
solo.
Yeah, you're starting out solo, really lean.
Yeah.
And then you work into crew productions, or you're being hired on as crew staff.
Yeah.
But like you're already getting that crew experience. You're getting to work on really cool projects. And so, yeah, those would be the big benefits, in my opinion, of going to film school
Well,
or
golly, and
photography school.
you're learning the lingo. You're learning how to operate different pieces of equipment. Because I think one thing that it's very easy to fall into whenever you're not traditionally educated in the film world. One of the things I know that you and I struggle with this, and every other solopreneur that's done this industry does. But like, I think the people that come out of film school, they learn. And we'll talk specifically on gear about the things that they like about certain tools because all camera is a tool.
Right.
It still takes the craftsman behind it, but they learn what they like, what they don't like. They learn limitations. They learn advantages of different pieces of gear. Whereas, again, with a solo filmmaker or solo photographer, like you're almost not stuck,
Right.
but we find ourselves leaning towards brands because that's all we've known
Right.
a lot of the time. So I think one advantage too is just on the practical side of using the different tools. A lot of the guys that come out of and gals that come out of film school, like they've used a variety of things.
Yeah.
So you can put them in any situation.
Really
and,
well rounded.
yeah, they're really
There
really
you go.
well
We'll
rounded
get it out.
at different pieces of equipment.
So those are some of the benefits that I have spoken with other industry professionals who have went to school.
Yeah,
those
a lot
are
of our
those are
friends.
a lot of the key benefits that they all reiterate.
Yeah, a lot of our friends.
Now the other route obviously is no school, so you're self-taught.
Kind of what does that look like as far as self-teaching goes? How do I self-teach myself?
Well,
photography?
so just because you don't go to school, I mean, the purpose to go to school is to learn something, but you cannot get lazy or skip the learning phase, if you don't decide to go to school, like you're still going to have to learn the craft. The method is just going to be a little different. The route's going to be slightly different, and it's going to be different for everybody.
Yes.
But basically, my degree is in computer science. It didn't teach me anything about the exposure triangle or how to turn a camera on. None of those things. You went to school, but didn't even you didn't even complete school.
Yeah, I stopped going to school.
Well, but my point is like you did go to school.
Right.
It was not for photo video.
No.
Yet here we both are as
In
working
photo
professionals. You know,
Yeah,
we make our living.
My first major was athletic training.
Well, there you go. So, but the reason you go to school is to learn. And if you don't go to school to learn these things, you're still going to have to learn.
Right. You've got to know the skills.
You're going to have to learn them in other ways.
And concepts.
The best way that I know to do it, and this is part of just my learning style, I'm a very visual, but I'm also a very hands-on learner. That's kind of the beauty of not going to school is you're going to, if you stick with it, you're going to have the opportunity to learn, make, and repeat. As our buddy
you get to make
Maddie
a lot of
says.
mistakes.
Yeah, because that's literally what you do. You learn something, whether you pick it up from a photographer that you know in person, something you've watched on YouTube.
You're an apprentice to a photographer. You're a second shooter.
But you've learned something. You then go make something. Photo, a video, film, whatever.
You fail fast, and then you start again.
And you get you get.
I like that. The learn, make, repeat. That was Maddie Hapoya.
Yeah, Maddie, our buddy Maddie.
Shout out Maddie and Teppo, his brother. Good dudes.
I'm anxious for the day Maddie comes back to YouTube.
I'm waiting for the day he comes back, but I'm enjoying Teppo right now too. He's upped the ante.
But learn, make, repeat. That's something that I think he may not have coined it, but he's the one that I've seen.
Yeah, he uses it a lot,
repeated a lot, and I love it because that's. I always joke with people, and it's so cliche, but like photography specifically and videography is a journey that does not have a finish line, does not have a destination.
It's like a never-ending treasure map
because you can never like know all of it. There's always something to get better at. There's always something to learn from every project.
You always find little treasures along the way, but you never find the treasure.
Yeah. So you're gonna have
a lot of treasure. I don't know. I'm not there.
Not there yet. You're going to have a lot of trial and error to learn. Now, that's cool because you're getting to learn it hands-on. But the quicker, the fastest that you can start building your network and your portfolio.
Yes.
This really goes for anybody in school or not
or
in school.
Yeah.
But the benefit of being in school is you already start doing that from enrollment. If you didn't go to school, you've got to start building that with boots on the ground.
Yes.
But you're going to have to build a network and you're going to have to build a portfolio. And I say because one of them can't exist without the other.
They are mutually exclusive.
They absolutely are.
It goes back to an old saying that I think we've all heard numerous times, but your net worth or your network is your net worth.
Yeah. Well, so specifically I've said, look, you've got to have a network and a portfolio.
Yes.
Well, the reason why I say you've got to have both is because if you have a great portfolio, the best portfolio, but your network exists of quantity of zero.
And I live in a cave.
Guess what?
Nobody sees it.
Nobody sees it, and nobody can reach out and hire you because your networking has not been, or your network is nothing.
Yes.
Now, on the other hand, it may be a little easier to do this, but I still think it'd be dang hard.
It'd be
if
difficult.
you had a great network and no portfolio to speak of, or no quality portfolio to speak of. I mean, what are those people supposed to hire you on? Just faith?
And the good word of your network.
Yeah,
which, if you've got a good enough word, maybe so, but you're not going to get any one business, individual, or anybody that you're trying to provide your services for to make what I'm going to call a sizable decision or a confident decision in going with you versus somebody who has both.
Yeah, they work hand in hand, and you've got to have a strong network that's constantly growing.
I totally agree with that.
And you got to have a strong portfolio.
Yes.
So the quicker that you can start building both of those, the better. The easiest thing to do is everyone, if they've talked to anybody, you do have some semblance of a network.
Yeah.
You've got family. Yeah. You've got the friends of family. You've got
recent coworkers,
jobs.
recent bosses.
You've got a network, whether you realize it or not. Now, are all of them going to be paying customers of your new photography or new videography business? No.
But they might know somebody.
That's
the cool thing about a network.
You've got to start nurturing that network while you're also building that portfolio.
Well, and specifically on the portfolio note, because I know we've talked about this in the past, what the word portfolio may mean nothing to somebody that's brand new, but when we talk about portfolio, what is a portfolio, and how do I create one that is attractive to a potential customer?
Yeah, so the difficult thing to understand, I hate the word niche.
Yeah.
The riches are in the niches, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
You do need to dwindle that down a bit and be
At least kind of funnel a little bit.
a little more poignant with what you're doing.
Yeah.
People are only going to hire you
for what they see.
Yes. We're living proof of that. We started in weddings. COVID happened. Our weddings that we had booked got postponed. A couple of them canceled, all those things. But we were relying on that for revenue.
Yeah.
And when that dried up, or at least was stuck out 6, 7, 8 months indefinitely, we were like, oh, shoot, we need to figure something out.
And we were absolutely floored and mind boggled at the fact that businesses didn't want commercials based on our wedding films.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like I know at least locally, our wedding work was like top tier. Yeah. Like it was really good quality. And I know that because we
kept getting booked.
We kept getting booked, and other professionals in the industry told us that. However,
unless they were lying to us, but yeah,
maybe whatever. But
we were still getting booked.
All that to say, unfortunately, businesses were not able to substitute themselves into, okay, these guys do quality video work. Yeah. They weren't able to see it for that because that's what it ultimately is. But it doesn't matter if you and I know that.
I was going to say they need to see that they do quality video work for me.
Yes.
Yes.
I saw them
can be in that.
a commercial for my competitor
Yes.
or someone else in a similar industry.
Yes.
Now I know they can do it for me. Mm-hmm. So all that to say, you've got to start building your portfolio.
Very
with
important.
Things that you want to get booked for.
A relevant portfolio.
So if you want to take the entire market by storm and become the elopement photographer in your area.
Big money there, by the way.
There is. That's a fun thing too. Yeah. Like it's intimate. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're seeing these great destinations, all those things. But if that's what you want to do,
you got to show work.
I'm sorry. People are not going to book you for their elopement if they see on your Instagram is dogs or cars.
Or cars.
Like it's just, and I'm not saying that you can't love working with other things. Like I have other passions other than commercial work.
But you got to find out where your money's coming from and show work that would entice more.
It's one of those things where you just don't include it in your portfolio.
Right.
Now, am I saying that you got to quit taking photos of automobiles if that's
take
your
all
passion?
the cars you want to?
Absolutely not. But if you want to be the elopement photographer, just
can't
know
show
very few couples in the world are going to say, you know what, I love what you did to that Skyline.
I love that Lambo. Come shoot my wedding.
I'm going to trust you with my secret elopement wedding. So it's one of those things where the quicker you can start working on your network and curating your portfolio for what you want to be hired for.
Relevant portfolio.
You're going to be way better off.
Yeah, agreed. I like that.
So ways to build that portfolio. If you want to be an elopement photographer, we'll just stick with that analogy there or that scenario. If you want to be an elopement photographer and you've never done an elopement, guess what?
Need to go shoot some.
You're going to have to go stage a few. You're going to have to bug some people, go stage a few on some lookout somewhere. You may have to beg or reach out to other photographers who are doing that and maybe say, hey, can I shadow you?
Shoot, I'll give you one right off the dome that just hit me. I know for a fact there are couples out there, old and young, who may want to redo their wedding pictures.
There you go. So you may be able to reach out to people who are like considering renewing their vows or something like that.
Bingo.
And you can say, hey, look, I've got an idea. Let's not just go do this way. Let's, and you stage an entire elopement.
Because you got Randy and Tina ready to squeeze back into the tux and the dress from 15 years ago.
There you go. But you're going to have to start building your portfolio with that elopement work so that you can then be booked for more future elopement gigs.
You'll make Randy and Tina look good.
There you go. So you might have to start free, but you're going to have to start building that portfolio in some way. So I guess all of this stems from that question, and I know that they're not the only person to ask this.
Right.
So hopefully other viewers are going to
Shoot, I ask this on a weekly basis. Should I go to film school?
Well, basically to kind of like sum it all back up, I personally know several people who have went to school.
Yes.
There are two great photographers in our area who went to school for photography. We have been mentored by Mark Bone, who
The
went to
Bone Zone.
That's my dude.
Yes.
My northern Canadian brother.
Stay up there in old Canada.
I think it's Canada, but
We'll call it Northern Michigan.
he did go to film school, and he's actually talked about this. He said, "Look, you don't have to in today's climate."
Right.
Now, I do think it was a bigger deal, maybe in past years,
For sure.
because
Before social media.
well, it just wasn't as accessible.
Right.
Photography was expensive to get into, more so than it is today. Videography, I mean, you didn't have cell phones that could shoot 4K.
Well, and again, you didn't have social media. So, like, the only way you were meeting like-minded people in the film industry were to be there in the building with them.
Yeah, and that was,
And on set with them.
commercials, movies, films. That was like basically the gist of film usage, perhaps a broadcast. But it is a different time, and we know several people who have went to school.
Yes.
Very successful. We also know people who have not went to school, also very successful. It really depends on the amount of work that you're willing to put in. But neither one of them, I will die on this hill. None of these people that we're referencing, those that went to school and those that didn't go to school, have been successful without putting in the work on the learning phase.
Right.
And they've not done it without network and portfolio.
Right.
They just haven't.
Agreed.
All of those people their network actually may be the most important.
I would argue that it's one, maybe tied with another thing, which would be our bonus tip.
Yeah. What's that?
Business.
Yes.
Learn the business side.
I know tons of people who are great at the craft.
Yes.
Some of the best photographers.
Yes.
Some of the best people with a video camera.
Yes.
But if they have zero business savvy, or they haven't put the time in to learn the business work, or they've not made the hire for someone who is good at their weakness.
I was going to say there's 3 ways to gain that one as well. Trial and error, which is very slow and painful.
Right.
School, which is expensive but fast.
Yes.
Or hire, which is also expensive and fast.
Yes. But at some point, you've got to have the business side of
Right.
things.
You've got to have the business side.
So if you are someone who is maybe junior, senior in high school, and you want to do photo, video, do you need to go to video or photo school or film school or photography school? You can,
right?
But
it's not necessary.
It's not 100% necessary today.
Again,
now, what
in
you
our
might,
opinion,
right? If you're someone whose family is heavily encouraging you to go to college,
right?
There's nothing wrong with college. I went to college. I have a degree. I have a bachelor's.
I went for a little while.
In computer science.
I went for a little while.
Did it for 10 years and slowly moved into this full time. But all that to say, had I had it to do over, and I knew that I was ultimately going to end up in photo or video,
or any industry for that matter,
I would have went and got a business degree. I would have went and learned business fundamentals, that all the things that you learn in business school and getting a degree in business is going to be of paramount importance to your success.
But don't discount either the what I'm going to call the greatest free university of all. I'm currently enrolled.
Yeah.
The YouTube U.
That's just not as targeted.
It's not as targeted. Certainly not.
And it can be
it can be, again, painful because sometimes you don't know what you don't know, which means you don't know what to look for.
Yeah, that's true.
Until it hits you with an algorithm. But yeah, don't discredit the YouTube U. Currently enrolled.
Right. Well, I'm
maybe one day I'll be an alumni. Enrolled. Maybe I can graduate from YouTube U.
Well, with this craft, like I said, there's no destination. So I'm saying probably not. But
I'll graduate when I die.
Yeah, there you go. That sounded a little ominous, but yeah, start building that network. Start building that portfolio. Heck, you may be able to start like making fat stacks by senior year in high school. If you start doing this now.
Yeah.
Start building that network. Start building that portfolio.
Photograph all your buddies' drag racing builds.
Yeah, whatever they're doing.
All their race cars.
Whatever they're doing. Like I said, you're gonna start to get hired for what you're putting out there.
Yeah. Magic the Gathering tournament specialist.
There you go. I mean, there's probably a market for that.
Listen, there's a big market for Magic the Gathering. Anyways.
That's the card game, right?
Yes.
Nice.
And they host tournaments, even locally here in the small town that we live in.
Wow.
Massive Magic tournaments.
I never got into cards. I never did. I never really did the Pokemon or the Yu-Gi-Oh or anything growing up.
I did Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. I never did Magic the Gathering, but we have friends who do.
Yeah.
And did.
There you go. Well, hopefully this has somehow been of benefit to someone who
That's our
is
desire.
who is asking this question of, do I have to go to school to make a career of either of these arts? We did not.
Right.
But we know people who have. So that is an individual answer that you will need to carefully and thoughtfully come to yourself.
You'll have to curate some pros and cons for your own body.
But like I said, if you just have a desire to go to college, I mean, a lot of people think it's fun. I hated school, but a lot of people think it's fun. I don't know. Get that business degree.
You do you, boo boo.
Yeah,
as they say.
All those things.
Also, speaking of things that can be done,
Yeah.
Jared, there are some things that our audience can do that would massively help us here at Faith and Frames.
Yeah. So, I mean, right off the bat, if you know someone who's asking this question,
Maybe they're on the fence.
maybe they're on the fence of, do I need to go to school to
Send this to them. It might confuse them even more. Or it might help.
You can just send it to them and, let the chips fall where they may.
Yes.
Other than that, give us a review. Leave us a comment.
Stars and bars.
I truly would love to know if you are already a working professional
Ooh.
in this industry. Did you go to film
Yeah.
school?
Comments down
Did
below.
you go to photography school?
Yeah. Let's get a little battle going in the comments section.
Maybe a bit of a war. Who knows?
Get a little debate. Nothing wrong with that.
I'll read them. I'm anxious to see.
I'll read them all. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
There you go. Other than that, I mean,
This is the hard part.
no.
Oh.
Listen, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Oh, he didn't make that hard at all. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.